Spray down not available for him. Flash drive looking at punish it. Kicks gets two. It's Alex to come up alive again. Ooh, destructive parry touches, but does he expect the upper angle? He does not. Mishu. Parting on the
Oh my God.
Game awareness.
He's gonna get through that teleporter. A bit more safety. Secured, but he's right after him. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to the second map of the first game of the last day of playoffs, Polaris stage number 2. I'm Janiro, your host today. Once again, we have analyst, 5-head MP on the desk. We are joined by Twiggy, looking very dapper there, sir.
Thank you very much. I was going as close to Chamber as I could without, you know, stealing the brand.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like halfway there.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. You need the card right here.
Oh yeah.
And I think like a headhunter.
Yeah, somebody Photoshop that in just like that, you know, something like that, that'll work.
I know Jay has been doing a little bit
Yeah.
of Photoshop.
Oh, yeah.
Too much
Twitter
Photoshop,
already.
too much.
Yeah.
What we can't Photoshop, however, is the fact that Finest won against Hookars. Hookars, unfortunately, dropping that first map. Finest finally breaking that curse of losing the first map and having to go for those reverse sweeps. So, Twiggy, how are you feeling about the performances? Because we're going to be going into Bind. It's Hookars' map pick. They're looking a little shaky.
Yeah, Finest kind of surprised me on that first map. You know, I rated Hookars' ability. Obviously, we saw them on Ascent and they weren't convincing yesterday against Kova. But at the same time, I thought, you know, Finest are coming into this one having had 2 days of hell, pretty much. They came up against Hookars
Yeah.
the first day. It was not a great performance. They won't have been happy with it. You heard how tired they sounded afterwards. Their second day, obviously, getting 2-0 by XL. And, you know, I thought maybe they'd be a little dejected coming into this one and that Hookars might have the upper hand, but it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how Finest came into that, especially Kicks. We already talked about Kicks a little bit. But we're going to go on to Bind. Obviously, Bind was really, really shaky map for both of these teams. I mean, 10 rounds on each side, and it was attacking side. Bind is usually kind of defensive heavy. I mean, yeah, sure, it has been more and more attacking, in my opinion, especially when you bring that double controller, you bring that Viper, but not 10 rounds heavy. And I don't think we're going to see that today. Obviously, Kicks is on fire. He's going to play that Sky, most likely, on Bind. There's going to be Machina on KO. I think Machina was a little bit off with the Chamber. Yeah, there was good stuff as well, but I think Machina could get something on. So last time, it was really tough for him, but that KO works for him really well.
Yeah, Kicks was a massive influence, I think, on Ascent. There's no way you can put that. His pop flashes have always been amazing.
Yeah.
He's so good at timing that. He's just, you know, like the cracked kid kind of thing. They pop flash out of the smoke. They go ham with the, you know, it's amazing to see. And I think it is really, he wasn't carrying Finest, but he was really the driving force that gave them a lot of those rounds. And just put Hookars in the dirt as it was. So if you can continue that here on Bind, it's going to be a massive boon for your team.
Yeah, would you say potentially that it could even be a downfall for Finest, considering how heavily reliant they are on those pop flashes of Kicks, on that util, on that space manipulation? We're going to be going into Bind. Most likely the Sky is going to be picked rather than the KO. You can just potentially play against that, find a way to counter it. And assuming that Hookars picked Bind, are you expecting that to be the case?
Yeah, I think they are going to come with the same composition. I feel like there might be some changes for Hookars, not necessarily on the composition, but how they play, because that KO was really hard for them to counter yesterday or 2 days ago. It was really, really tough, and that was the one thing that pushed Finest on those attacking rounds. For those 10 rounds, I think that KO was one of the best parts. Not even the flashes, not even Machina playing good fragments or flashes, but that KO dagger is just too much. David couldn't really do anything. 9 first duels challenge, only 3 won. And I think that's all saying that, okay, David got denied so hard. with that KO dagger. You cannot use that rendezvous, which is so OP. But I think KO is the perfect counter, and Finest, if they're gonna come in with that, and Hookars is not gonna change anything, I feel like it's gonna be really tough for Hookars, especially when Finest has this first map advantage.
Yeah, Twiggy, you yourself, you happen to be on that Hookars Hopium. You selected them not just for this match, but also for the match against Excel.
Yeah.
How comfortable are you with your prediction?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't
Yes?
100% certain when I picked this, but I'm not 100% certain with any of these teams. I don't think any of them have a massive upper hand in every single facet of the gameplay. You know, Hookars, they're amazing on attack. They, I mean, we've seen how many times have they come back from a deficit on defense and then absolutely destroyed the team on attack. It's been pretty incredible to watch. So you can never really count them out. Finest, they have their troughs and valleys. You know, they do really well sometimes, not so great other times, so you can't count them out either. XL, they're all round great. But, you know, I think any team can win any of this. I think Hookars wasn't a terrible choice from me, but we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Hookars coming in the bind, they have to exploit that the enemy team doesn't have chamber. Sure, they have really good information with the Sky, with the KO, Viper lurking here and there, but they just have to know, they have to read instantly where Destructive is playing. Is he playing for that flank control? Is he playing for those lurks? If he is, they have to exploit that instantly. They cannot go for those retakes time and time again. Yeah, sure, you can win a few of those, but especially that B side is so hard to retake. You have to take more control of the map. You cannot just come from CT, from elbow. You have to make those pushes. For example, in Bathroom, if the B control is what Finest is going to go for, just take control of Bathroom. Invest 2, maybe even 3 players there. Push out. Be more aggressive. I think that's what I want to see from Hookars. That confidence, that aggression. Aggressiveness.
Agression. Oui, oui. Vraiment, c'est ça.
The chamber
Yeah,
is
the chamber is
the
there,
French in me.
Yeah, I think with the win condition for both teams is their defense. I don't think that's you know, a difficult decision to make here. The Hookars, obviously, not so strong on defense. We know them as an attacking team. Finest, they just didn't put up too many rounds on the defense after Hookars came back at them. So both teams just need to patch up that defense. They're both going to have, you know, looked over that VOD extensively after they last played each other. So it's really just going to be who has been able to patch up their strats the best, who has been able to look at the other team's aggressive strats and figure out how they're going to counter that.
Yeah, and the question here is looking at those strats as well from both of these teams. It seems like for Bind specifically, Hookars felt like they had that ability, they had those enter strats, they have that confidence that this is the map that they can be walking away with. But if anything, we heard Moxie say it earlier on the desk at all as well. Bind was lost by Finest because of their own mistakes rather than the proactiveness from Hookars. So is this worrying for you, MP? Do you think this is going to be the case once again? Are you assuming that maybe Hookars are coming with the strategies, or are they banking on a couple of mistakes?
I feel like they're going to come in with the strategies, but they're absolutely, if there's going to be mistakes, they're going to catch on to those. They're absolutely going to take those. They're going to punish. Sunshine was really, really good as well. Mishu popping off. So I think it's really hard for Finest to come in here and maybe go play their best game. They're not going to get that 10-2 advantage this time, 40 or 12-4.
You never know.
No way, no way. I don't believe. Yeah, I mean, you never know, but no way they're going to get that advantage. And obviously that's going to be in their mind. They're going to be like, oh, we lost this bind. And I think Hookars, if they weren't confident in this bind, if they didn't have any set plays, or if they didn't watch those VODs, I don't think they would have gone for this bind, because it actually didn't look that good for them either, especially on the defensive side. But I think they have a lot of things prepared. They have, yeah, obviously they haven't had that long of time, but they have analysts, they have coach who has watched those VODs of Finest. They might do some package like how Finest is playing and like trying to counter from that.
Yeah, you're trading on insider information here because they're friends? Is that what's going on the desk right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I wish actually.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I think Hookars have the upper hand here. Genuinely, I do think they do. That's not hopium, that's not codium. I genuinely do think
not
they
the
have the upper hand.
points.
Whatever makes you sleep at night.
Yeah, MP.
They started off on their weaker half, Finest took them by surprise. They lost a lot of rounds in a row, but they had the quality to bring it back. Even if Finest did make mistakes, they capitalized off of that perfectly, and I think it was one of kind of the best attacking halves we've seen from them so far, and that's saying something from a team that is so effective in their attacking strats. So I'm looking to see just a few more rounds on the defense from Hookahs, give themselves a bit of an easier time winning the map this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Hookahs Finest, both are looking good. I don't think there was that many mistakes coming into Ascent. Yeah, there was few getting caught off guard, maybe going for those anti-flashes or swinging wide too early, something like that. But in a fundamental level, I didn't see that many mistakes right there. And if we come to Bind, and with those fundamentals, I think it's going to be really, really hard for each of these teams to dominate on their side. Like we talked about, I don't think there's going to be 10-2s. I don't think there's going to be 10 rounds for either one of these. I feel like it's going to be more 7-5, 6-6, around there. I feel like it's, even though Bind, in my opinion, is defensive side, sure, yes, 2 days ago we saw it was very attacking for these teams. I think it's going to be way, way more even right now. And I feel like Hookahs might take the advantage. I actually agree with you, even though I threw kind of joke there. I think Hookahs might take advantage. You have been able to persuade me for this.
That's
I don't
all
know.
we're doing here.
I was feeling Finest at first, but now I'm like,
You're quaking a little.
Maybe it's Hookahs.
Maybe not so sure. One thing, however, that I also do want to talk about is the agents. Specifically, we expected a Fade and a Raze last time around. We did not get that. However, this time we do see a Raze coming out from Finest to be expected on Bind. But all in all, the compositions, they are what you expected, Twiggy?
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what you expect. Sometimes you don't see that Brimstone, sometimes you do. And both teams have gone for it this time. It allows for great rotates, sorry, not retakes. And yeah, no, apart from that, it's pretty similar. You've got the Chamber coming out from Hookahs. Obviously, David feels very confident on that, whereas Finest, they're not so good on the Chamber on Bind.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I think the only thing that Hookahs has to worry about here is going for those aggressive flanks on defensive side, because Finest doesn't have that Chamber, doesn't have the Sentinel.
Yeah, this is the map that's going to decide whether or not Finest are going to be in the finals against Excel, or if we're going to be saying goodbye to Hookahs, or whether or not they're going to have a lifeline to fight another day. Pavlos and Neo on the mic once again. Casters, please start the game.
I'll do that in 7, 6, 5, 4... Yeah, you get that. Yeah. Okay, I'm pressing the button now. Let's go. Let's get started. Second map of the series of the lower bracket final, where Finest are ahead, as they did win their own map pick. Hookahs won yesterday in a devastating fashion for Finest after them being ahead 11-2. What do we expect from this rematch?
Well, something that Des mentioned, which I fully agree with, is that for both of these two sides, this isn't a great map for them. They're both pretty lackluster at times on it. Inconsistent is probably the word I'd put, where we see moments of brilliance on Bind, but at the same time, moments of, well, not so much. And this is the question of kind of what fighters do we get here, what Hookahs do we get here? Pistol rounds have been a consistent good part of Finest gameplay, and I think that's something that they're going to have to keep an eye on, Hookahs, especially going in towards, well, their map pick, right? I mean, if they want to keep this dream alive of not getting 2-0'd and, of course, still pushing towards the grand final, Pistol round will be a good start.
It will be indeed. Slow start from Hookahs as they look to enter towards a short. It seems Destructive may have some ideas of entertaining that little swing, but he drops away, actually. They moved out of Lamp's control, and they've kind of allowed Hookahs to enter through, provided with the toxins that they have enabled themselves. The rotation seems to already come in for Finest, right? 4 players strong in the approximate area. David looking to close up the gap in towards that Lamp's angle, and now entering the site with the Brimstone smokes.
Commit comes through. Plans go down as well. Flash as well. Wakimak in a find. Actually, not too much.
Well, YACINE finds one with his bot. Kicks gets one as well. Destructive is explosive, and Moss is the next player that has paint shells thrown at his feet. All right, Akimbo. All that is left. Low McKenna. Know exactly where he is. There's flame at his feet. He will burn to a crisp. And goodbye, Akimbo.
The Classic's doing all the work there. Free pistol, by the way. It was a very good showing, and a really good showing individually from Finest once again on a pistol run. Who would have thought it? Flawless so far in the series, 3 for 3 in pistols, and that's been one of the biggest assets towards Finest gameplay because it gives them early momentum. Beautiful, beautiful stuff for them thus far. I've got to say, Hookahs, that's been one of the biggest gaps in what has been actually a very solid Hookahs side, especially this season. Slightly inconsistent in pistol rounds, and it's proven to be a little bit of a deficit in towards the playoffs.
Seems like I saw a few pings earlier on in this round of Finest, figuring out how they want to be placing their defensive utility. And it seems they are going to be holding off that A site with a toxic screen. Fairly aggressive one, actually. We'll be keeping Hookahs far back very, very early on. So have to use quite a bit of utility to get out of that one. I believe only one of Mishu has been spotted from that dagger. As soon as Destructive goes for the swing, will spot out all of the pressure. Does take a little bit of damage. That hinders his confidence, but still, he's got an info out of that.
Yeah, that's enough of a warning sign for him to just take a step away. Doesn't need to. Now, Machina in towards bathrooms. Bit of a flash, looking for information, but so far a very slow passive attempt here by Hookahs.
His flash through the smokes had been influential that first round, right? Now, no longer has a flash drive at his disposal, which could make the difference if Hookahs are able to scramble space early on in this round. It is a little bit difficult though. The macro play doesn't seem to be favoring them, as Finest seem to be placing the adequate amount of players to the correct sites. As they do throw a guiding light towards the B site, they start to rotate over once again towards A. Kicks with a spray down through the smoke. That simply gives them a pick and also information. YACINE already on rotation, and Kicks now will carry on his pursuit of this. They do close up the gap against him, which means the trade will commence. Machina on behind the smoke. As soon as it deteriorates, he'll be in trouble, but doesn't say it like he wants to swing it together with the paint tools and the spray down. YACINE with the Guardian off the back end will be denying the bomb plant time after time again. It seems like they're playing with him right now. YACINE is loving life.
Yeah, YACINE finds a 4-piece, but for me, it's not even him who wins the round, it's Kicks. Again, the information he gained. He's a trailblazer through the TP in towards mid. What does he see? 4 players rotating over towards that B site. And because they know that they've been spotted, Hookahs have to double back over towards A. The clock is their worst enemy. They're forced into a really, really awkward execute with not enough time, not enough utility. It's all off the back of one man. Kicks, that is stellar. And he individually, we spoke about kind of the duelists being the space creators and, you know, the initiators being the space manipulators. That's what he does so well. He allows YACINE to shine, and that's what makes Kicks so important.
They're going to be seeing Kicks in international stages at some point.
He's too
Can be
good.
certain. Remember that name, everybody. Remember that name.
He's too good at such a young age as well. How can he be 16 and that good? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I'm jealous.
You're living the dream too, mate. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
You can't complain. Can't complain. All right, well, some weapons will be brought out from Finest. Obviously, you don't expect them to be bringing too much firepower out in this bonus round.
Bonus round from them, and if we cast our minds back to the previous map, they lost Hookahs against the bonus round of Finest, and that more or less sealed the deal in map number 1, right? In that second half, when they lost that force spike coming through after the loss of a pistol, that more or less confirmed the nail in the coffin for me, and if it's a similar scenario here, that's when you get very cautious. If Finest get up to 3 rounds here, again, this could be as big as a gap as we saw in map 1.
Let's see if Hookahs can start themselves off strong here on the attack. They don't check the right side. Sunshine just falls there that easily. Okay, Ghost, Machina still alive. How is Machina still alive? Push coming through. Mishu can hear all the commotion. Judge nearby. He looks to drop away from it. Oh, hello, Bonker. He'll be retrieved quickly. David as well joining in on that fray. Mishu will hold down the lamp's control. And it's only Kicks on rotation to try and make something out of this. Sheriff Potshot does reveal his position there for Hookahs, know exactly how to play around this now.
Yeah, Machina made a really good effort of that. I mean, he was staying alive with a ghost into his backside for that long. The fact that he wasn't cleared either, slightly concerning. I thought Sunshine would have seen him. He threw the nade. The fragment came through, and we were kind of saying, okay, easy kill, swinging. Bob's your uncle, all the good stuff. But no, doesn't clear him. I think he may have assumed he'd swapped across to the other side. Not the case. All alone now, though, Kicks. I mean, you can't expect too much of him. If he can get an exit frag here, that'll be a real positive, a silver lining in what is a lost round. But I think it's going to exit the other way. Keep hold of their weapons. They know that their long-term economy isn't great. And for Hookahs, all that Kicks has got as a sheriff. There's no need to go hunting.
So, Twiggy on the analyst desk earlier on sung the praises of Hookahs on the attacking side, being capable of doing so very much. Last time around, though, they did play an attack on second.
Yes.
Weren't on attack straight away. So, is it expected of them to gain a sizable lead from the start?
Yeah, I mean, that's what, if you're looking at kind of current trends, right? You look back to 11-2, then choked all the way to OT and a loss, right? Hookahs have shown that on their attacking side, they can be very, very good. But as you mentioned, that was the second half there on the attacking side. It was a different story then because they had nothing to lose, right? And I think a lot of people find their best form when they're really under the cusps and under the pressure. and now they're not really as much in terms of it's the early point of the second map. Yes, they did lose map number 1, but it was Finest pick. So for them, I don't think they've got that pressure really kind of, you know, kicking them on the butt yet just to really get them going.
And it's also the pressure relieved off of Finest, right? They're not in such a difficult spot now since they do have the comfort of their own
Mental's
map
in a good
pick.
place.
And Fracture's under the decider, so they can feel pretty happy about that one, unless Hukas have prepared some miracles overnight. Would be lovely to see. Okay, forced into the TP here, Kicks. Does use a flash, gets away with one. That's way better than just dying there.
Exactly. A 1-for-1 trade, he'll take that all the more. And of course, on top of that, he's a bit of information. He's got a good idea that they're slightly posturing over towards the A site, but they're rotating back over towards B. And there's 2 players there to greet them.
Mish's position is actually very important here. Not only is he holding back rotations from Showers, but also can be a menace on the rotation and just keep them in control, keep them in check, and have the information to the rest of the team that if you do move in towards that B site, you will have numbers advantage.
That's it, rotating away. This could be awkward. They're leaving Destructive all alone over towards B.
Oh,
YACINE's gone the wrong way, and that might even bait a rotation fully.
Now they're going to push through, but they're in a difficult predicament. Look at the B site entry now towards the site. YACINE is crossed over. They also have a crossfire set up from Destructive over in Hookah. The smoke will come through though. YACINE has to hold his ground. He's capable of doing it once. He's capable of doing it twice. And that is Destructive moving out of the sky smoke to do his own damage as well.
YACINE masterclass. Again, that's brilliant. He was rotating back over towards A, and we were getting a little bit cautious that, you know, potentially that could be a really awkward early rotate that becomes so costly for Finest. Fortunately for him, the sound cues were heard by Destructive. He calls that rotate back towards B, and YACINE pulls off God's work. That double is fantastic from him, and it's more than enough. This first kill, brilliant, but it's the second kill here, off the back of moving as well, to be able to delete Kimbo in that sort of scenario. Gotta give him the credit. That requires some insane mechanical prowess.
It was forced out of that position with a blast pack and still got it. Crazy. Oh, this is reminding me of something.
Oh no,
this
I'm getting
is
flashbacks.
giving me flashbacks and stomach cramps. Okay, well this time it works out for him. We're looking at a pistol buy from Hukas. You know, there's a hero rifle in the hands of Mishu. But yeah, you know, even though it might not be Bonker's fault last game, but the moment we started seeing judge after judge after judge, even on buy rounds, that is when Finest dropped the ball last time around.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what games I commentate, if I see a judge in towards bathrooms at any point, I'm just going to get awkward, horrible flashbacks. And of course, he's gone back over towards bathrooms. He's just jump spot on the angle. But as you mentioned, it is just pistols. At this sort of range, he can't lose this.
And essentially, it's not the same scenario as last time around, right? It's just the deja vu pain we're feeling. Okay. That Incendiary does a lot, but that also is going to force Bonker out into the open. Jumping Judge.
As you do.
As you do. Not many judges will jump around in the flames. He goes, and that is how he falls. And now all of a sudden, it's a 2v2 with the rifles in close reach. Orbital Strike available for Mask, and a showstopper for Akimbo. Sky Smokes, there's a gap through one of them. But Akimbo will not be crossing through at Seekers. Oh, the spray down. Oh, Akimbo walks away with barely any health to take for it. 5 points of health, but both of them have ultimates. Touching the spike, what will come down first? The orbital strike, but they knew it was a fake. Kicks, forced out. Kicks, 30 points of health. Musk kills him with a Sheriff. No way, this is another eco victory by Hukas. Destructive Toucher once again. This is the showstopper being thrown at his feet. And Mask with the ace with his Sheriff.
An ace, eco, clutch, master. What a masterclass from him. That is brilliant. What a round. Of all the rounds as well for Hukas to take in their favor, it's one in which they were no one expected them to be able to take, and one in which they desperately needed to take. That is substantial for Mars. I mean, absolutely brilliant. But of course, the other side of things, while it is brilliant from Hukas and individually Mars, it is poor from Finest. That's overextension after overextension after overextension, which just gives freebies time and time again towards Hukas and gives them a free round.
We've cracked the code, Nia. It's the judge.
Not buying it.
That is the bane of their existence.
Yes.
That is their kryptonite, their Achilles heel, whatever you want to call it. Don't buy the judge bunker. Yeah, no, this is just storylines. This is not reality, but still, it seems to be a theme.
But I think you're actually not even on the wrong course there. The judge, because of it, gives a mentality to Bonkard to be aggressive, and you don't need to be too aggressive on this map. He's overextending, losing his life, and giving up a lot of space towards Hookahs. It's costly. Just even if he goes for a 1-for-1 trade, him dying opens up the map for Hookahs.
Oh, everybody's through the smokes, everybody's walking in front of Hookahs right now, and they're just saying, thank you, come again! And Bonker's going in, and he gets one, and he dies. Okay, well, I think the ground was already lost by then, so it didn't really come down to Bonker, but we're seeing the shakes we saw before on Bind from Finest, and thankfully for them, they already have some of a lead, therefore this will only be a gap closer from Hookahs. Hello.
That's important.
Very important. Replenish some of his health, but up against three different angles, Spike in the middle of nowhere, Poison, oh, that's a blast spike as well, that's going to delay it so much. So he's going to be looking to save this rifle. He will not be permitted that at all. David takes him down, so 3-3 as Hookahs square things up.
Tie things up again. I mean, I guess you could say for the likes of Finest, once that Viper's pick comes up, it more or less seals the deal. But again, as we've said, that judge mentality from Bonkar, I understand what he's trying to do, but it means that just inherently, Finest become over-aggressive. I don't like that. If we look back towards that previous map, the best work that we saw from Finest is when they were passive in the nature, crossfire setup, and allowed Hookahs to make the mistakes. Hookahs aren't as well drilled as a side in that sense when it comes to their executes, and they are prone to the mistake here or there, which Finest are very good at punishing, but with that mentality, they can't.
Very deep smoke coming out from Finest here, and it looks like they will be pushing past it. It's very easy to read that such an idea may take place, and Hookahs have got their placements around it, have put caution to that direction, but it also could be an obfuscation to a push happening in short. Destructive also looking to push by, Paint Shell's at the feet of Mishu. Really interesting. Look how deep Destructive is. That's so much info. The rest of Finest are happy to rotate over to the B side and kind of take on this as a crunch. David has to fall back. They're not over-aggressing. This is a very confident and composed Hookahs side. Akimbo in trouble, not really confident to take that on YACINE there. And now he's got reinforcements. Makina has to fall. Mishu there to stop him. That's a triple. And that's the B site control. Destructive has come in too late. And David might be there to walk right past them. And there to put a bullet between the two eyes. Bonker, the IGL of the team, may have gotten one kill onto David there, but I don't think he'll be able to get much else. Bonker, 5 points of health, 2 kills. What, can you do it?
Surely not.
Down to 1 point of health. Yeah, when the two people lined up like that, there's nothing you can do.
That was asking a lot. I mean, there was definitely somewhere where potentially that could have worked out. I mean, to isolate those last 2 fights would have been so difficult. Credit to him. Finding 2 with the Sheriff, he'll take that nonetheless. The judge has come out once again. Oh, God. I wish I could be Finest analysts. It'd be so easy. Bonker, don't buy. No. Naughty.
Naughty. Naughty boy.
Bonker, no.
In the corner.
On the naughty step. Get a Vandal. Buy a proper buy. Let's go. Well, what we see now is Hookahs starting to extend a bit of a lead. They're up to a 4-3 scoreline, deficit of 1. Dicey.
Well, the Viper split will be used straight out of the bat. Bonker's judge duties will be towards that B site in Hookah. Has to be forced out with a single Paint Shell. Thrown at him. And looks to re-enter after the snake bite depletes. Trailblazer thrown out towards long. That's going to be scouting out David, maybe Must as well. It's all the trading and info game so far. No over-aggression from either of the sides.
Super slow. I mean, they don't need to anything. This is what we were hoping for Finest. Play that slower tempo, and for the time being, now try and open things up. But an orbital strike comes through.
Too aggressive.
It's so aggressive, but does a fair decent amount of damage.
Does it though?
What, the Sunshine?
Of health and the Sunshine. I mean, yeah, okay, it softens him up a little bit. No way they're entering through the minus bit. They're really going to push through this, aren't they? They're really going to go for this.
If Destructive falls, though, opens up that A site a little bit.
Okay, kind of makes me feel a little bit more comfortable now that they're pivoting towards B again. No command expended. Finest are using so much preemptively. They're so scared of Hookahs right now. Stim Beacon. This is going to make the attack ever so quick. 2 on the B site. Mishu finding off Makina on the rotate. He tried to get through the TP, but he's denied that access. All of the kills falling in favor of Hookahs, apart from Kicks getting 1, but that's going to be a short-lived endeavor. Destructive might be able to bring Makina back into play, but the damage has been done. Spike will be planted. YACINE looking to push forwards from elbow. This is going to be tough. Makina looking to close up the gap quickly. That dagger will spot out a couple. This is tough, man. 3v4, not impossible. Master's damaged up substantially, therefore could be a quick cleanup. YACINE finds a pixel and picks up the head of Mishu. Still, equalized, 3-on-3. Akimbo and Cubby spotted. Destructive takes him down. Master and Sunshine playing it together as buddies, but they're all collectively will be falling. Finest with a very meticulously successful retake.
That is a brilliant retake. I mean, if you look about how to retake over towards that B site and bind, that is one of the most textbook ways you can do it. It was fantastic. Knife comes through, denies all the abilities, and that's the first thing, because it means that all they can essentially do is dry peek, which is exactly what Finest want to do. If you look pound for pound in terms of mechanical prowess, you'd probably make the argument that Finest are the slightly better side in terms of mechanical prowess, right? And those are the fights that they want to take. You were saying they were quite scared. I think you were absolutely spot on. They were scared in terms of what Hookahs could bring, so they're preemptively using a lot of those ultimates. But what we did see is them brilliantly shut down any abilities from Hookahs, which made that post-spawn so difficult, and hence why they fell flat.
Molly.
Oh, Destructive gets caught. By the way, guys, Bonga's got a judge again. And Destructive is going to fall due to snake bite, poison, flames, all of it. The lot.
Healing over here.
Yeah, didn't even see a single player that round and died anyway. YACINE's going on a walk. He's got Makina with him. Hookahs, they know of it. Look how far back
like
they're playing
this.
kicks as well. They know that the push is coming towards them. Finest are so impatient, and Hookahs know.
Yeah, Finest, they're their own worst enemy right now. I mean, you mentioned they're so impatient. We saw it in the previous round where they used the ultimates. It was 3 ultimates used before the last 30 seconds, before they got any info.
Oh, damn it. Look at this.
Does he clear? Surely
He's
does.
going to clear it
He
because,
must.
like, they check everything at this point. He's waiting, though. Did that dagger spot out all of the Hookahs players in showers? Not quite sure.
8 of. Clock's ticking, though.
Yeah, Makina seems to have a good angle there. David, do you check the right side?
Oh, no.
Oh, he does, but YACINE finds an off angle just in time. All but a strike towards Lamps. That gives nothing, but at least gives them the idea that it's clear. Bonka with the judge. He's putting it to use now, but it's too short range to do damage through the smoke. Still holding off. Akimbo shutting down Bonka. He had an ultimate. It would have been important. Mast. What can you do with Akimbo here? 2v2, Sky Smoke's blocking and splitting the site in two. Makina soon as the smoke's depletes, he's able to find one, but Mast needs to balance off these two players. 5 bullets, and they're not enough to take down both of the Finest defenders. They put him to an early grave. A little bit too quick.
Yes, not as textbook as the previous retake, but nonetheless a very good one from Finest. It was a really decent use of just biding a little bit of time, which is that rotation coming through over towards the alleyway position where you saw David trying to find that opening pick. Timing got the worst of him because YACINE turns at the right time to give himself a freebie, and of course on the back of it, giving an ultimate to use. So Showstopper is available for Finest coming in towards round number 10. Hookah's going to call for a timeout, and this is a similar scenario that we saw at the end of the first half of map number 1, where it was round for round, but then just towards the end, Finest slightly slow starting, but starting to find their feet, and that's where they get dangerous. We already mentioned there's such a momentum-heavy side, and if Finest get control of the momentum, they'll run away with it, and that's where you start to ask a lot of questions, you get quite concerned, and you got the other thing on top of that, the stipulation that, well, Finest are flawless in pistol rounds thus far. Hookahs know that all too well. They cannot afford to go in towards that second half with a deficit. If they do, they could probably expect Finest to take a pistol round, and we all know how that one pans out.
It's crazy to me that Hookahs already had the right idea, but still end up losing the round.
Yeah.
It goes to show how mechanically capable Finest is.
The idea was there, but the execution wasn't, and that was the worrying thing for them.
Uh-huh.
And what you do start to see as well, and I've sort of noticed, especially in this series, they're very, very reliant on Mast. He is the one that they go to be sort of the spine of their side. While he's not kind of running away in terms of frags, his impact is everything. He's an information gatherer, but on top of that as well, he's the one who's always in those clutch situations. They always sort of hope that he's the one to kind of pull something off. We saw him get the ace earlier, which is obviously fantastic, but you can't keep relying on one individual to step up, because that's not going to last in the long term.
Especially when he's your controller, right? You
Exactly.
want to have him alive throughout most of the round to take control. Finest
Beautiful.
push. They just push and shoot heads. They just push and shoot more heads.
That's brilliant.
They've got a collection of heads.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, I mean, that is brilliant. That push in towards mid is fantastic. One flash, and it's a 3-2 kill. Get another one out towards long as well. Of course, another Kicks masterclass. In a matter of seconds, Hookahs, who had a pretty middling buy coming towards this round, are left down to just one. A Vandal. One man, Sunshine, and a 1 versus 5. And I think it's probably pretty safe to say that this is going to be Finest up to 6, unless he can pull off something ridiculous.
There may be a chance, especially when 4 people are rotating over towards the B site. That could mean that there's one isolated player, and of course it's Bonka.
Oh no.
Of course it's Bonka.
Please don't do this.
Check your right. He does. That's 1 kill. Seeker's out. That could be a free plant. Careful, the rotate has come over from the TP. But they move in towards Catwalk. He heard YACINE move over. But instead of kind of taking on the Shower's approach, he goes towards short, and Sunshine isn't able to read it in time. Therefore, rotations have come in. That's going to make the spike plant mirror impossible. Makina is able to slap him silly and give him himself. And Finest, the round.
I thought he would have wanted to prioritize the spike going down. I mean, he had a bit of space to work with. He knew that there was someone in the back lines rotating around, but even if they were deep over towards where the teleport comes out, he still would have been able to get the spike down and then go for that peek in towards bathrooms. For me, yes, okay, a 1 versus 5, regardless of any scenario we talk about, it's pretty improbable he's going to find anything. But if he wants to prioritize that round, or at least try and give a good attempt at round, get a spike down, play to individualize those fights, try and ice it as best you can, which would have been great if he'd had the spike down, a bit of a labor spray as well, and well, Finest up to 6, lead extended to 2, and now Hookah is starting to tremble.
Hookah's last time around won 10 rounds on the attacking side.
Yeah.
Now they can only be limited to 6, as there are only 2 rounds remaining in this half. Very aggressive here. YACINE throws a blast pack. This is Bonka coming out with a judge. The Pinchals are the ones to be getting out these kills. We needed to make a meme about Bonka loving that gun, because he really, really does. We've been seeing it most of the rounds so far in this game. They look to push onto the site, though. It seems like Hookahs have gathered full control, although Elbow has yet to be infiltrated. Mishu holding back. Seekers will reveal his position. YACINE is capable of pre-firing that. Spike goes down, but this is still a 3-on-3, and Kicks may be challenged throughout the smoke. He spotted out a barrel. Both of them did, but David gets the better of that trade. Sunshine as well is raining bullets onto YACINE, and Destructive has to be true to his name and be destructive. Bring that Turkish firepower to life. 1 to his left, very quick. Barrel might have been spotted. That's going to be his spray coming through. Oh, that could have gone wrong, but it does not. Hookahs close up the gap and garner themselves a 5th.
Oh, Destructive in the name, unfortunately not in the game, as Hookahs up to 5. They chip that deficit down to just 1. Now, of course, again, looking exactly very similar as how we were in that map number 1, and if anything's going to pan out in that case, it could be, again, Finest started the kickstart momentum going in towards the second half. That was very, very close. Hookahs, though, all they had to do in that thing is play the numbers advantage, play for the trades. That's exactly what they do. Really nicely done. Up to 5. Full buy coming out both ways. Of course, no questions asked. Bonka with the judge. It's a match made in hell, as he's going to still try and make it work.
YACINE with the opener. He really is feeling himself today. He really is, and that is paying dividends for his team. Hookahs struggling. The push is all going to their ranks. Finest are taking the fight to them as soon as Mishu wants to take himself some advantage. YACINE, due to falling back, is capable of finding it right back up. Akimbo shutting down Makina. And from that position, it will be very, very difficult for him to be resurrected. But they're all going for this showstopper thrown by Akimbo. It's simply a trade. But Musk is able to find a kill himself. And Hookahs close up the gap right at the final mark. 6-6 at halftime.
And who is it again in the clutch? Mast. He is the one they rely on to be able to step up again for Hookahs. And that is really, really nicely done. As even as it can be, going in towards the second half, of course, it is Hookahs' map pick. We know how good Finest can be on pistols. They are flawless thus far in this series in pistol rounds. Interesting times. Very, very interesting, to say the least. For Finest, I've got to say I'm actually slightly positive for them just because of the fact that it was the Hookahs attacking side last time out that was so good. Their defender side was inconsistent, that's probably how I'd put it. Now we look towards how things pan out. Now, potentially this is a lifeline extended because it's a much better showing from Finest. Their attacking side that needs to find early momentum.
I'm just thinking if Bonka brings out the judge on the attacking side as well. That would be a spectacle.
He's got no chill.
No chill. Well, seeing a judge on the attacking side is much more less frequent
Yes.
than it is on the defensive, of course, on this map, especially. First pick does go to Hookah, well, goes to Finest, and the second one will follow up as well. Spike can simply get planted as they've cleared out all space. Akimbo can't really cross through the toxins. He's having quite some hard time pushing here. Needs a couple of kills to kind of put things back into equilibrium. Guiding Light. That gives them information of presence in the backside. Not anything they didn't know already. Sunshine closing up the gap. Can't use utility. Great snake bite, causing Mackinnon to fall back out into the open. This is leveling the playing field just a little bit. Onka keeping his team on top, and it seems they will stay on top because Hookahs are pretty much pincered in, trying to battle and juggle their positions with all their opponents being thrown at them left and right. Sunshine has been running out of bullets, and of course it's a BM knife from YACINE, a statement kill for Finest.
I love it. I mean, I really do respect him. He may as well, right? The round was guaranteed. Give it a go. Get a little knife in, and it does work quite nicely for them. Finest, again, still flawless on pistol rounds, and that has been the biggest deficit for Hookahs. That has been the biggest problem for them. They cannot even seem to fathom or even contest the pistol round, and that's been the case. Each and every pistol we've seen so far, Finest have dominated. They haven't even looked like they've broken a sweat in that round. It was so simple. They barely even dropped any utility. They just went aggro. They banked on their mechanical prowess, and it worked. Now, of course, heading in towards round number 14, this time not a force by Hookahs, because they know they don't have too many chances left.
YACINE, open up. Shorty close by, goes for the swing instead of a rating around himself. Akimbo, also with a shorty, will be looking at Finest starting to garner quite an advantage. That's going to be a 2-round lead after this round. I'm impressed. Finest are looking a lot better. That knife kill, a statement piece, I believe. A statement that they don't want to fall in a similar fashion as they did before, that they've conquered their demons, and basically probably says on the other side, Excel, we're coming for you.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think, you know, for me, Finest are mentality monsters, but they're their own worst enemy at the same time. They're brilliant. When their mental's in a good state, they're feeling confident, the juices are flowing, the gears are turning, that's when Finest are at their best. But the second they start to get into a little bit of a downward spiral, that's when they're honestly at their absolute worst. We saw that exactly the last time these two had their outing, right? You know, when Hookahs kickstarted that momentum a little bit, Finest were very obviously tilted. I mean, it was very clear to say the morale was at an all-time low for them. That's when they're at their worst. But now you can see the confidence is flowing. They're playing with a lovely vigor about them. And this is where Finest become unstoppable. And as you mentioned, it is a statement that XL, you got to watch out for this side. They aren't something to be messed with. Yes, XL, of course, are the #1 seed. The favourites for a reason. But as things stand, Finest going to give them a good go.
Good guiding light. This gives Hookahs a clear advantage here. A good opportunity for them to get themselves some space. Spike has been shown, that's information gathered, but YACINE doesn't back out of this fight. He wants more.
Confidence, there it is.
Yeah, and it might be a good bait and switch because Hookahs have actually ended up putting most of their players towards the B side, so this is not impossible, especially if YACINE is able to open the things up even further. Sunshine will have to reposition to account for this, but he's alone. One guiding light and he'll be in trouble. Takes aggression to his own hands though, and puts their duelist in the mud. Kicks also in the dirt. Destructive with a Spectre. Not much can be of hope for him. Beautifully done by Hookahs this round. As soon as they get weapons in, they make them work.
Yeah, a little bit of economical damage done there by Finest, but it was a bonus for them. I mean, again, I guess we can take some silver linings as best we can from it, but a really much better round there from Hookahs. Individually as well from Sunshine, very, very good at isolating those fights. The utility usage was perfect too. He just gave himself all the advantages he needed. He knew at range he was going to win things out. He relied on his aim, and it worked. Up to 7, deficit down to 1. The story's not done yet. I mean, we were kind of already having this conversation of, you know, XL, watch out, Finest looking pretty good. But there's still a world in which Hookahs turn this round, and they've turned it round for worse before.
Oh, guiding lights from both ends, and Sunshine to over-pressure, over-commit, and end up losing his own life. This is troubling because without Sunshine, you have no flashes, you have no ways to kind of gain space yet again. But Mishu, if he's able to trade favorably, it wouldn't be too bad, but no. He's taken back himself. 3-on-4 with full site control of Finest. All Hookahs players approaching from spawn. This is so tough. Finest are playing this as close as they can, closing up this gap completely. Oboe might be the only opening for them, but David is yet to breach that spot. Sky Smoke still probably around 15 seconds until those deplete. David will equalize things just a little bit more, but the time is ticking. And they have to start moving in, otherwise they will be in big, big trouble. Kicks and Machina both went out on their trades. David will not be able to do it single-handedly. He's got shown what is going to happen to them. Finest are back. 9 rounds on the board.
Post-spawn to perfection there by Finest. It was absolutely brilliant. I mean, all they had to do was hold, wait, and, you know, the utility was all they needed to do. Just wait for Hookahs to make those mistakes. And this is what we were saying in that first half, right? If you look at them pound for pound, Finest are the better side, but they just get a little bit overconfident, overzealous in their nature, and cause their own demise. All they need to do is just slow the tempo down. That's when they're at their best Valorant, and it was shown there. Wait for the mistakes of Hookahs, who are a slightly less well-drilled side, and they will fall into your lap like a present on Christmas Day. Up to 9, 2-round lead.
Couldn't feel like Christmas for Hookahs right now.
Oh, the opposite.
Not at all.
What is the opposite of Christmas?
I don't know, receiving coal in your
Coal,
stocking.
yeah, there is.
It's, being put on the naughty list. David, it was a little bit naughty.
I've got your
Good skill with a
trail.
headhunter. Oh, this is going to be troubling though. Seeker's thrown out towards the Ace site together with the guiding lights and the firepower of Kicks' entry in. It's a mere impossible task for Hookahs to hold this back. Shorty reload. Akimbo misses the shots. Machina able to push up very close to him. So this is the Ace site fully taken over, and Mishu is locked onto the other side of it. Kicks pressuring. That is uncomfortable. How did Mishu run away with 2 here? Sunshine's got a Vandal, but because he's as blind as a bat, won't be able to do anything against Machina. Finest, that was tough, but they do secure it in the end.
Sheriff aficionado there, finding himself a double. I mean, out of nowhere, delivering with a duo. That was really not too bad at all. He made light of a really dark situation there for Hookahs, and he was a silver lining in what was looking like a terrible denial of the execution. Really decent to at least cause a couple of economical damages, but what we do see now is Hookahs calling for a timeout because the pressure is mounting on their shoulders. They've got a Mount Everest of a climb ahead of them if they want to get back into not only this map, but the series itself, and I think they are starting to crumble under the cusp.
They are indeed, and what's even more troubling on the Finest side is when you look at their ultimates, right? They've already got 3 very high impact ultimates there, Showstopper, Null Command, and the Orbital Strike, and they're literally 1 orb away from getting a Viper's Pit, while on the other side, Hookahs have a Viper's Pit, who could very much be countered by all 3 ultimates that Finest have. And the trades aren't going their way. Either it's all looking to spiral out of control, and this timeout seems to be their last-ditch effort to grasp their way back into this game.
I mean, realistically speaking, this is probably the penultimate buy Hookahs have got. If the trend continues the way it is right now, this is probably the second to last buy they've got to use here, and they could potentially squeeze 1 more in if Finest keep this train going of momentum in their favor. This is what we love to see from Finest. When the gears are working in coalition, this is when they're at the absolute best. It's so difficult to stop that train from moving, to put the brakes on. A timeout, it's a good idea to try and cool them off, but even still, I think it's really looking dicey.
What? No command and Showstopper used instantly. Not reactively at all. This is proactive. Viper's Pit in front of them, but they're going in either way. Orbital Strike, they're using everything. They're using absolutely everything. Thankfully for them, Sunshine has to fall. Mishu, though, finds himself within his own Viper's Pit. It gets 2, but that means the Viper's Pit is no more as he gets shut down himself. David into the corner, taking it back. But still, Hookahs have got 2 players to work with, and that's important. Looking to take down the people trying to resurrect their teammate Akimbo with 1, but the fact that Machina's back into play, this is troubling Mask. All that remains, but with the Viper's Pit dropping at his feet will be tough. YACINE with a close distance angle with a bullet to the side of his head will be taking him down and putting Finest so close to closing out the series, so close to securing the grand final spot.
If we're talking about an attacking side showing, that is a Picasso-esque masterclass from not only Finest, but YACINE individually with 4 kills to his name. He made it look like light work, and his paintbrush is that Vandal. What a showing from him. He was fantastic. Now the lead extended up to 4, and I think for Hookahs, those nails are 1 by 1 started to be knocked into that coffin.
You said 4 kills to YACINE's name. I also saw 4 ultimates expended for Finest.
Yeah.
They are not messing around. They want this win, and they want it now. Not waiting until Hookahs get themselves their way back. No, this is their home turf, and this is a statement. They want to win this entire freaking tournament. YACINE looking to push very aggressively. Akimbo uses a Showstopper and is instantly taken aback. Kicks. Now, what do you do with this? You find himself very, very deep into this. David pushes past the smoke, drops from heaven, dies, And that is Hookah's losing all of their players. Mishu might be able to scramble his team back in, but YACINE is not missing. YACINE is alive today. YACINE is here to stay and take his team ever so close to that grand final.
7 kills in 2 rounds, and 7 rounds all that Hookah have got to their name, and it's looking like a done affair here. Another masterclass by him. He's 30-9 currently. YACINE, brother, take a bow. What a performance he has had today, not only in this map but this series.
At the start of the playoffs, we said this team, Finest, require to have YACINE online.
That's
to
it.
have him play well, but also be high-spirited to let the team thrive with him. He radiates that energy, and we're seeing him come alive today, and he's in the best spirits to take his team all the way. Hookahs, your last chance to hold on to this. You're going to need 5 consecutive rounds to stay in this game. Finest, they push themselves towards Lamps. Mishu may be in trouble. They're looking to be very aggressive with this one, and it's paying dividends. Akimbo and David will have to look at their comms, realize 3 of their teammates are dead, and they have to do it all by themselves up against the deadliest Finest we've seen this entire season. Akimbo falls, and so do Hookahs. Finest in the grand finals.
Finest walking away with the win and securing some of the talent their points. But if anything, they're securing themselves that rematch against Excel that they've been looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Finest getting 2 rematches. One for Hookahs, both of those they have won, and now against Excel. Obviously, Excel is going to have that one map advantage, but Finest was looking good. They are not breaking their curse, kinda. If they win that first map, they're gonna win the series 2-0, and they looked really, really good here.
Yeah, I mean, generally when we see Finest win a series 2-0, it is not against a team like Hookahs, it's not against a team like XL, it's against, you know, the teams that have generally been knocked out in regular season. This is completely different. This is not the Finest we've been seeing for the past few weeks. It's not flip-flopping at all. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They've fixed their problems. They've come in, and they've come in reinvigorated, and this is definitely a better side to Finest. It's going to make for a brilliant grand finals.
I have a question, Twiggy.
Yes.
Bonkar judge, what?
Look, Bonkar, I just want to apologize real quick. You know, I judge the judge, and you should never judge the judge. You should embrace it. Embrace the cringe, and I have embraced the cringe. I'm happy to say you are the Judge King.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we had against the judge last time we saw it was that Bonkar played it 3 times in the literally same position.
Yeah.
Now he was switching it around a little bit. Bathrooms, we see him in other positions, which I think is really fine. I think only one player that I have been seen able to like play consistently just in hookah with that judge is Link. And even he switches up sometimes for Lamps. So I think that was really, really refreshing to see that Bonkar wasn't just only playing in hookah.
Yeah, YACINE, we've highlighted him before and how instrumental he is to the wins that Finest have been securing. On the RAZE, he was playing out of his mind. Mishu as well, very instrumental to Hookahs. Unfortunately, not enough done today, but still a valuable player. This is what you expected to see here, and because I can tell you're a little shocked.
Absolutely not. I mean, yeah, sure, I was expecting YACINE to pop off kicks as well, but not like this. 32 kills. And the attacking side for YACINE was just insane. The utility that Machina and Kicks brought to YACINE to be able to get those first kills was insane. Same thing that happened last time on the attacking side. Finest coming onto that B side with really, really fast-paced pushes, but they actually reinvented their game a little bit as well. They went to that A side as well that we didn't see that much last time around, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a classic saying in Sunday League football when your team loses, like, you know, 15-0 or something like that, and you just go, they wanted it more. You know, they wanted the game more. And I think that is really what Finest went into this game thinking, is just, we need to get to the grand finals. We need to show everybody what we can actually do against XL. And this is just, you know, a hurdle in the way. They just ran over it full speed. They're setting the new world record for the 110 hurdles. Absolutely amazing. That is a different side to Finest I haven't seen so far.
Yeah, fortunately for us, we also have an interview ready with Bonkar to be able to hear from Finest themselves as they're going to be playing against XL. First of all, congratulations on the win against Hookah. You guys are making that lower bracket run, do you believe?
Thank you. Of course, I believe we're here to play today for sure.
I mean, how happy are you about that first map win? Were you like right there? Okay, we're gonna win this 2-0. It's not even it's not even hard for us.
I wouldn't say so, but I think the first two matches we had in playoffs were kind of underwhelming for us. We didn't perform at our peak, and I think today we came to play, as I say.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I mean, you get that last chance at the Cherry there. What is it that you're thinking coming into this game against XL? Is it, you know, we've changed some things around, we're a different team entirely, or is it just we just get this next chance, we're going to show you what we were missing out on yesterday?
It's gonna be a fun game for sure. XL is a really good team. We'll see how the veto goes, to be honest, if we'll see some new stuff or not. But it's gonna be a banger.
It's going to be a banger indeed. Thank you for taking the time for the interview. Before we close it out, any words you want to share before your match up against XL?
Nothing in specific. Keep sending us energy, positive vibes, and go Finest, guys.
Go Finest indeed. Thank you so much for that. I hope to see you guys later. Enjoy the little break that you're going to have. But you know, one of the things that we also really need to highlight here is Hookars, okay? This team, as we said it before, they made a miracle run this stage specifically. They went 1-6 last time. They placed 7th. They were at the bottom of the leaderboard. They had to crawl their way into Stage 2 Polaris through the qualifiers. They made only one change to their roster, and that was picking up Sunshine. They now have the coach, they have the analysts, and they have been doing so incredible. David, however, on the chamber, didn't really work out this time.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of saying, like, Mom, can we get the chamber at home? Can we get a chamber?
We have a chamber at home.
Yeah, I mean, right
the
here.
chamber at home. That's the one that we have. We also have a replay ready just to highlight some of these individual players from Hookars who have been absolutely cracked this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Round 5, this is kind of just a highlight. This is one of those points that I was questioning whether this is going to be a turning point for Hookars instantly. I think if we look at Finest on the first day, on Friday, I think this 5k that Masked right here gets could be absolutely devastating to Finest. It could mean that Hookars goes to close out this first half 9-3. But Finest was able to turn it back. It was so good individual plays by Masked, but also the team support was there. Akimbo even using Showstopper. Mask is like, no, this is my ace. This is my ace, not a chance. And that was a huge highlight. And people like you guys who were questioning Mask picked up by FPX as an IGL or as an stand-in IGL. Look at that. Look at that. He can absolutely frag, and you have to know that he's an IGL. Obviously, you're not going to get maybe the flashiest plays. Right here, you can already see that maybe there is something for those gun rounds as well, and, well, with the Seraph as well. Yeah. I think that is perfect stand-in for FPX.
Yeah, Hookars have absolutely blown the expectations out of the waters. We didn't really know what to expect at all. If anything, we genuinely thought they wouldn't even make it to playoffs. But they were here. We have round number 9 as well, highlighting once again the brilliance of these players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was really good from both teams. Obviously, Hookars getting a lot of pressure on that bathroom. And look at this map, what is happening right here. There's so much pressure. I think 4 players shown for the side of Hookars, and Finest instantly starts to rotate for that flank. This is exactly what I wanted to see for Hookars. But Hookars is actually brilliant. They're like, okay, now we need to fall back a little bit, group up, check for those flanks. And beautifully played by David. I think this was a really, really good read from both of these teams. But it just ended up going to Hookars' side. I think Finest was doing really good on that defensive side that we didn't quite see last time on Friday. They were doing some aggressive pushes that was working as well.
Yeah, last but not least, we're absolutely spoiled for replays, by the way, today. Thank you so much, Mr. Analyst MP, for getting these ready. We have round 16 as well, once again highlighting the performance of both of these teams, but if anything, going in Finest's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. This was the round 16. Right here, you can see all of the utility that happened yesterday. yesterday happened today all over again. The KO dagger, the Trailblazer, room, but everything coming in, and this is the secret weapon. Well, not so secret anymore, but secret weapon for Finest that allowed them to get these sides so free. They just have that utility so much, and it's coordinated perfectly. You have those KO dagger lineups. Obviously, there was a little gap in B long area that you could stay without getting spotted by that 0 point. But still, the utility was so good, and there was not a chance that Hookers was able to go for those aggressive picks. It was so tough for them.
Yeah, production smurfing it by getting us these replays ready. However, one person who's not smurfing it today is going to be Mr. Twiggy. You not only predicted Hookers to be winning this one, you also predicted him to be winning the finals.
Hey, you never know.
You never know, you know, they
From
can
the
still...
left field, just run in, you know, wrestling rules. They can just come in whenever they want, that kind of thing. I never count out David, never count out Must. They can get in there, I'm sure. You know, the moral victory. I mean, Hookers have played so incredibly for a team that does not have funding, a team that does not have a lot of time to practice, a team that's barely a team in a way. You know, you don't get all of the luxury of getting paid to play the game. You don't get the luxury of having all the time in the world. You have a job, you have school. These guys have done so well to almost make it to the top of Tier 2, getting into the VRL finals. That would have been absolutely insane. I think we're all kind of like secretly hoping within our hearts for that kind of storyline, because it would have just been beautiful. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and that does mean, yeah, I am out of the Preds. I am out of the Preds. I can't win it.
Whoopsie daisy. But before we end this segment here, I want to say, sign Hookers. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You saw the improvement coming in this stage
Yes.
from last stage. What is it gonna be in the next 6 months?
Oh, yeah.
Go for that signing.
Yeah, I think Hookar is definitely one of those teams that is just star-studded with individual talent. The players, again, very young, don't even have as much energy, resources to dedicate, but they still manage to fight their way all the way into playoffs. Unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to them, just like we did to Kova. So, 1 second of silence. Heading to a break that's going to be longer than 1 second. The next game, XL against Finest. The revenge arc for Finest. XL looking to prove themselves once again. It's going to be starting at 4:45 p.m. Make sure you write that down. We're going to be heading to a break. We'll be back not so shortly, but we'll see you there.
We
Polaris.
my friends.
Me likey. Low.
Let's go!
Let's go, boys! Vamos!
Let's go!
Go, boys!
Neela on for the quad. Can he find it? He's just waiting for the lockdown to work his favour. He's waiting.
Fuck, hvor er du iskold, mand, det mener jeg.
He main lost.
Hold it together, hold it left side.
Nice, boys.
That's
That's
it.
What the comeback? Let's go.
Devo. He's waiting.
One,
Shh, wait,
two,
wait.
three.
1, 2, 3. There we go. It's beautiful. And now it's just Summer left with Yasmond holding up in heaven. The Showstopper doesn't get much, but he finds the head of Yasmond. It's a 1v1. Now he has a spike in his hands. He can rotate back round to B if he wants. I think he's just going to cut noise and wait. He wants this ace. He wants to kill Supma here. And he's just round the corner.
Go, boys! Okay,
Let's go, we win this.
You can 1v5 at all.
That was the best player of the tournament. Good job, bro.
Oh my god, we have momentum now.
Under.
One more. Nice. Out, my ping.
Nice.
I pressed caps lock and my radar came out.
Nice!
Thank you.
Nice, boys.
Ay.
No way.
Get the f out of here!
No way. Alex, you're so good. Well played, guys. Did we win this?
He's going to be able to hold on to that operator. He's going to get through that teleporter. A bit more safety. Secured, but he's right after him. Okay.
Yoru overrated. Chamber outdated. Long have we waited. Hookah's activated. There you go.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for having me. Cheers.
They've given it to him. Okay, better than nothing. Finds another kill.
Oh, this becomes doable.
Right in front of him. And now he's got a weapon to work with, but no, he doesn't pick it up. Instead, he pushes forward.
Oh my god!
Another destruction for Destructive right now, but if he moves into the dark cover right away, it's his round to win. What? Goodness me, this just didn't happen.
I need a breather. That was
Seriously.
unbelievable. Shed now going to try and go aggressive. Walk straight to the crosshair. Chihuahua, good for 2. Looking for 3, which he delivers. You didn't need to question him. He comes online brilliantly. We were waiting for the Chihuahua show, and there it is.
But I do want to give a shout out to Chihuahua. I think he is a pain in the ass to face. I'm guessing he's sitting in a dark room because I don't know, man. Like, he is zoned in. Like,
In for another. Supma comes in for support. Platatech a double. Spraying away. Hang on a second. I counted them out, but now it's a 1 versus 1 against Vicious. He's got a fair amount of HP to work with. Outland will come on board as well. 2 versus 1, and he manages to clutch it out. Platatech, a quad clutch at XL. See out their opponent's map pick, and what a story that is. For them to close it out, I counted them out. I sat back in my chair. I was like, hey, this one's done. No, Platatech.
can I say one last thing? I gotta say, I feel really bad for Finest. We're gonna play them after Heat. And yeah, as I just said, I just feel so bad. Because we're gonna kill Kicks. We're just gonna see where he is, we're gonna kill him, and they're gonna play 4v5 permanently.
A few moments later.
Is the aggression we see from Finest.
All the way through mid. YACINE fully blind. Takes down Lucky. Nah, it's Robbie versus the world. Do you have any choice words for them after that one?
You troll around sometimes, you know, saying they're gonna lose, but at the end of the day, you know, they were really great teammates, and I played with them for months, and it was really enjoyable. And I mean, at the end of the day, we are friends. No bad feelings towards them.
That was a really, really wholesome answer. Thank you.
Welcome, gamers and Valorant enjoyers, to the Regional League Northern Europe Polaris. I'm Janiro, your caster for today, and thankfully, joining me on the desk, we got the big brain, the 5-head Giga Chad MP. How are you doing? Position as of yet. Gonna drop the right click onto Misha. They're gonna have to go for the reload. Go for the 9 kill instead. Unquestionably. Oh, Jesus, man.
Alive.
Any other day we close it 2-0, just making sure we shut Finest mouths, you know, really, to be honest.
I love the confidence. You're a straight shot, and I appreciate it.
Kid Goon's all alone in a 1 versus 2. Has to get the on the heaven player and does. Hang on, Sam, no way. Not again, surely not. Kid Goon, no way. And that's brilliant.
Embo taken down to a very nice amount of HP and has to back all the way up. Coming through here, Shed is just right round the corner, waiting for them to push through. He'll find 3 and 4. Bunker down as well.
Chihuahua's still there, rolling puppy but no one checks ramps! And Chihuahua picks up 3!
No, he can't. Yasmin in for another. Supma comes in for support. Platatech a double. Spraying away. Hang on. Versus 1. And he manages to clutch it out. Platatech. What a story that is. For them to close it out. MP, what just happened?
I'm deaf on my left ear, so.
Oh, man, you can't do that to them. Oh, yeah, okay, well, I don't even have half of my information. I'm still whooping you on every map. Well, amazing. Oh, uh-oh. Shed, you were literally looking there a second ago. Oh, Devo. He's waiting.
One,
Wait,
two,
wait.
three.
1, 2, 3. There we go. He wants this ace. He wants to kill Sutma here. And he's just round the corner. He's like,
Monster, the sheriff is doing so much. He's doing more than oh my goodness, and another one. This is the ace looking to happen. I don't know why he. No, Kane, why would you do that?
We need to kind of make you all forget about the one that dropped the gun, so